hit that button. Here we go. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Loud Majority Live on this Tuesday, September 19th, 2023. My name's Kevin Smith. Thank you all so much for tuning in. As you can see from the headline, I'm joined today by a great friend of the show and awesome Substacker, Paul Ingrassia. Paul, what's going on, brother?
How's it going, Kevin? Shout out to Eli for that wonderful graphic. The wonderful graphic. So,
obviously, we're going to be talking about the rally we had the other day. Paul got to come to it and helped get the big guy to see it, the Donald.
Got a lot of publicity there.
The president. It was pretty wild.
We got the Donald to see it, to retruth it. If everyone checks out his Truth Social now, I think he truthed it again earlier this morning. But it was huge. It was the biggest rally to start off the rally season that I can recall. I mean, this is bigger than 2016 and 2020.
It is wild. And it's so funny. Some idiot on Instagram is trying to be like, you used to get 15,000, and now it was only 400 or 500. Well, what is that all about? And I'm like, you mean during an election season, people are more enthused?
And this is just the first one, buddy. So, it's only going to get bigger from here.
Fake profile.
At one point, this is true because I was there. The motorcade was stretching over a mile long, and we ran from Seaford, which is, for those of you who are not Long Islanders, all the way Nassau County, all the way down to Montauk, which Nicole, thankfully, she corrected me. She said it was a 95-mile stretch. I originally wrote 320 miles. Probably the dumbest sentence I ever wrote on
320 miles, I think we'd be closer to Portugal than where we started.
Florida, but yeah, absolutely.
No, but it was a lot of fun, and you got to come to it. I'm really happy about that. I know a lot of people in the chat are enthused about that. They're trying. They want us to come down and help them do it where they're from. I know little Mama Lee in the chat. She wants to.
We saw Hazel Kitty. She was there on the ground. A few other people. Of course, our great friend Johnny Football.
Yeah, John Cafiro, my confidant.
MVP of the day. He was fantastic.
Awesome.
He was going back and forth. He stopped, parked on the side of the highway for us to get that amazing footage that President Trump put out.
People
there.
are asking, how long did it take to get to Montauk? Well, we drive like 35 miles an hour the whole way.
There was a lot of traffic.
Well, because if you go too fast, the flags rip off the car.
That's true.
Which, chat, you can ask Sean about this. We found out the hard way the first year because we were going like 60, and then all the flag poles were flying off, and all of a sudden there's like torpedoes shooting off the back of people's cars. It wasn't really all that great, but it was a lot of fun.
They call it the MAGA cavalcade. I mean, it's truly like an army. I mean, you're storming through all of the South Shore of Long Island. Our buddy Lenny, who was the ringleader, he took a few branches with him, I think, by the time we got to Montauk.
Lenny does storm prep.
Yeah.
With his truck. Let me see if I can pull up a picture of Lenny's truck real quick.
I think it's on the Substack if you want to just
is it on the Substack?
Yeah.
Let me so Paul wrote a nice little Substack about our motorcade. Let me see if I can get Lenny's truck in like a still shot on here. Yes. So guys, this is Lenny's truck. Lenny Manginelli. He's a bit nuts, but we love him.
There's a photo of him, too, towards the top.
Yeah. So he has these gigantic flag poles that he drives down the street with, and he does storm prep, basically, getting ready for. He takes all the limbs off of the event, off of all the trees coming across the street. Lenny likes to do that all the time.
Yeah, I was wondering how he equipped those flag poles to the back of his truck.
Well, dude,
that's
he's one of those guys that can like fix anything.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like he just has that way about him. He always has. But yeah, so. We're going to talk a little bit about the rally. I know, Paul, you guys should check out Paul's Substack.
Play that video because there are a lot of photos, videos.
Yeah, let me see if I can. Let me see if I can get that on here.
But it was an amazing turnout, and as Kevin said, this is just like the beginning. So
getting everybody for a little video.
I'm not going to be able to pull up the sound, but it was It was a good set. So what was your first impression? I know you've been to them before, but they.
I mean, it's been a while, but I was surprised by just how many people actually showed up. The enthusiasm all the way, and a lot of people joined us. Not everyone began in Seaford all the way in Nassau County, but as we drove throughout the day, more and more people, I guess, got word that we were coming down the pike, and they joined in. And by the time we were in Suffolk County, Northport, there were about 400 or 500 people. I think over 400 people. So it was an amazing day. enthusiasm. I mean, at this point, who is not a Trump supporter? I mean, that's the question.
Everybody, a lot of people who are wrong.
Yeah,
that's who.
I mean, I remember the DeSantis people putting out about a week ago, like a one boat, like in the middle of the Potomac with a DeSantis flag. But there's nothing like this.
Well, we're going to get into Florida because apparently Florida is the talk of politics over the last couple of days. We're going to get into that a little bit later in the show. But before we do that, guys, hit the thumbs up button. Keep sharing this video out all over the place. If you are new to the channel, firstly, let me know in the chat. You guys know I love hearing about that. Hit the follow button at the bottom of the page. Keep sharing this video out. Thumbs up, everybody. What's going on in the chat? I see a lot of familiar faces. Donna D.A., what's going on? Donna D.A. is the greatest radio. She used to work for a very good radio station out here on Long Island.
Really?
And then they banned me.
That's not the same Donna I met, right?
Yes,
or
it
is
is.
Okay,
yes,
we love you, Donna.
The best. The best. The
She's
best.
The
but
best.
it's the things are going really well. So, guys, once again, hit the thumbs up button. Keep sharing this video out all over the place. Obviously, the big story of the day, we're going to jump right into it. This came out yesterday. Let me pull this bad boy up real quick. The big story of the day is Matt Gaetz is expected to run for governor of Florida. He's widely expected to run for the governor of Florida. I always said that I would never, ever live in Florida because it's just too damn hot. However, with that being said, if Matt Gaetz announces he's running for governor, something tells me I will be wearing my Florida State Seminoles jersey everywhere I go. The Florida congressman, however, told NBC News that his only political goal at the moment is getting Donald Trump reelected in 2024. The idea that Republican Matt Gaetz will run for governor has been a topic of several conversations in Tallahassee over the past few days, including during a reception Sunday night for the incoming Speaker of the Florida House. Matt Gaetz has long been considered on the short list of those who would try to get the Republican nomination for governor, a field that is expected to be crowded because the incumbent, Ron DeSantis, will be facing his term limit. So it's important to understand that whoever runs for the governor of Florida, DeSantis will be termed out, which is a lot of the reason why people think that DeSantis jumped in now in the first place, while he still held a political office in addition to the Murdoch money and the Koch money and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But Koch, not.
Well, there might be the other kind too.
I'm not trying to
based on how surrogates behave online, but
I'm not trying to say he's a what the hell, Johnny Depp and Blow.
He may need it though because
he's certainly very low energy.
Low energy, Ron. I was about to say low energy Jeb. But I did see Ken Griffin, one of his big donors, is no longer supporting him, which just shows that the donor class has lost all interest in Ron DeSantis. But going back to Matt Gaetz, this is a guy who was one of the 20 to stand up against Kevin McCarthy back in January. He was one of the earliest, probably the first, I think, Republican from the state of Florida to endorse Donald Trump in the congressional delegation there. So, yeah, this makes sense. I mean, he's been very outspoken against the Jack Smith indictments in the state of, in Florida and the two coming out of Washington, D.C., so much so that he even called out Byron Donalds, his colleague.
I just pulled that. I just pulled that bad boy up.
Right, yeah. So this is the biggest headline.
Byron Donalds fires back at Matt Gaetz after Mediaite throws a pop-up in the middle of my damn screen. At the MAGA star attacks him on the House floor. I don't care about that foolishness. Rep. Byron Donald followed back at Matt Gaetz on Tuesday after the latter congressman issued a scathing condemnation of Donald's compromising continuing resolution on the House floor. I just pulled that up from Mediaite, so it's a liberal source. So we're going to get that the hell off the screen. Right. But basically what happened was, obviously we know there is an impending government shutdown going on right now. Basically what Congress will do is they will just pass a bill funding the government at current levels for a couple more months, another month, several weeks, in order to keep the government open. I would say that I'm on the side of Matt Gaetz, but I've said no numerous times. I'm on the side of shut the whole damn thing down. This is the face of a guy that doesn't really care. Look, if you're a tourist and you want to go to the Statue of Liberty during the government shutdown, I'm sorry, you're just not going to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. If you want to go to Yellowstone, find a different park. Like, I don't know. I'm always concerned people say, oh, well, like 40% of government workers will be out of work. And I think Well, that just proves that we didn't need the jobs in the first place.
I know, and who cares? I mean, at least they'll not be spending our money for once. I mean, the more the government is shut down, at least they can't send more money to Zelensky. Or I mean, already over $200 billion. I think
$200 billion has been guaranteed.
Zelensky just flew in yesterday to JFK Airport, so he's right on our home turf over here.
Yeah, he's
which is ridiculous.
Got you stuck in traffic on the way.
Got me. I almost did not make today's show because of all the traffic right now in Manhattan. I mean, Joe Biden's there.
They're having
Zelensky's there. They're at the UN General Assembly, doing their
every year in New York City they have the UN.
Putin didn't fly in, right?
No,
he hasn't been invited in a while.
Something tells me Putin didn't.
He used to attend those.
Every year.
President Xi too.
For those who don't know,
the
UN,
big guys are not in attendance.
The UN Assembly in New York City is the worst week for any New Yorker.
Yeah.
Because these diplomats come over here and they park on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
They park wherever they want. There's traffic jams left and right. You can't get a cab. All that.
You cannot get a cab. I had to run 25 blocks. I almost missed the train.
Also, they can just come here and tell us why we're not giving them enough money.
Yeah.
That's the entire.
That's really the whole thing.
That's really the entire thing. Nothing ever. I think they condemned Gaddafi once.
Yeah.
And then he showed up with his army of security wives in one of the funniest moves in the history of foreign diplomacy. You guys should check that out. That's absolutely hilarious.
I mean, the UN is basically irrelevant. I mean, at this point, the only relevance it has is just draining us of more money, which is not a good thing. I mean, the biggest moment in the UN history over the past 5-10 years was when Donald Trump showed up, made a speech, and basically denounced the global community and saying, everyone has to pony up their fair share because America has been paying for all of you guys for far too long, and it's no longer, we're no longer going to do that. Unfortunately, we've reverted back to our old ways, and now with sky-high inflation, an open border, crime through the roof, our economy is in shambles, and yet, of course, we're spending more and more money on these wars now. It used to be in the Middle East, now it's in Eastern Europe, with no end in sight.
It is shocking to me, and I've said this to many people I know of the left. I'm like, don't come to me and talk to me about free healthcare, free college, free childcare until every dollar comes back from overseas. I mean, look, I don't know what. More importantly, why is the UN here? I don't know.
Why do we have it?
Why do we have it? It's so interesting too, because Donald Trump would do these sorts of things where he would say things in a very simplistic way. He'd say a sentence like, "Wasn't NATO to stop the Soviet Union?"
Yeah.
Yes. And he goes, "Well, didn't we stop the Soviet Union?"
I know.
Yes. So then why do we still have NATO?
I know.
That's the idea of having a businessman run things.
Yeah, I know.
Goal. Mission accomplished, move on.
And simplicity. I mean, he's able to just kind of go through all the nonsense and just direct your energy to the problem. It's stated in a simple way. Tucker Carlson always says this. Donald Trump was the first to ever say, "What's the deal with NATO?" And everyone laughed at him. Everyone thought it was a stupid question. But upon further thought, upon further contemplation, you're like, well, yeah, what actually is NATO? What's its purpose right now? I mean, the Cold War has been over for 30 years now, although so many of our Republican politicians still have their heads seemingly stuck.
Oh, they're still in the
1980s.
They're still
forever
Cold Warriors.
They're broken records, right?
Apparently, 2 hours ago, speaking of Congressman Gates, he tweeted out just 2 hours ago, "After 8 months of inaction, I have taken the liberty of drafting a subpoena to Hunter Biden. It simply requires your date and the date and signature at Speaker McCarthy. Millions of Americans are wondering if you're serious." Now, something tells me that will not be dated and it will not be signed, because for some reason they have the.
Yeah, I mean, it's all positive. We love.
I could pull it up, but it's really small.
Yeah, we love seeing these aggressive moves on Matt Gaetz' part. I mean, some people were a little cynical, saying perhaps this is opportunistic of him, that he's doing this all now and setting himself up for a gubernatorial run. But at the same time, he made that speech last week, that rousing speech in which he, said he's going to exercise the motion to vacate, which is something we were not hearing from him before that. I mean, our good buddy Mike Crispy interviewed him a couple of months ago, and Gaetz kind of shied away from that issue. But now it seems like it's on the table, and he's honest about it. And he seems like it's a viable option for him.
I mean, I am curious to see, because I am of, and I'm curious what you think about this, of the political mind, where I think, okay, I want Kevin McCarthy to be vacated. However, with the impending government shutdown, with the possibility of an impeachment charade going on, is this the best time to
It's always the best time.
basically stop those two things? Because look, if we vacate, the government gets shut down and we don't get an impeachment, because the entire fight would then be the speaker motion, because you can't run the House without a speaker. That's unfortunately, that's just the way things work.
Yeah.
So my issue is that if we do that, then we put everything else on the wayside, because if the government is shut down, the people who actually do the work for impeachment, the 15,000 lawyers that they have working in the background, they're not at work anymore.
Yeah.
The staffers get sent home. Every congressional staffer gets, I think, but one in each office.
Well, the best thing you could do is use the leverage to speed up the impeachment.
That's what I believe he's doing.
Once you do that, then you still exercise the motion once he's finally impeached, and then you get McCarthy out of there.
Absolutely.
But you're not supposed to say that.
You're not supposed to say that out loud. You're not supposed to say that out loud. Yeah.
But I feel vindicated now about Byron Donalds, because everyone's been. I mean, we love Sean Farage, but I saw him a few months ago saying Byron Donalds for VP, Donalds for VP. I don't know about that. I was always like, we got to be a little. I saw him always in the Tim Scott category. Like, here's a diverse candidate.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that one. Everyone seems to love Byron, and apparently
you like Byron.
I do like Byron. I do. First off,
Kevin and I are
he is one of the biggest people I've ever seen.
He's a big guy.
He's gigantic.
He comes from New York originally, too.
Yeah, he's from Brunswick.
Yeah,
I think he's from East Brunswick. Well, apparently he also, this from Fox News, has plans to run that he confirms he's thinking about running for governor of Florida. A source confirmed to Fox News Digital that Byron Donald is also considering a run at the Florida governorship. And look, I think a lot of people are going to stick their hat in the ring on that one. I think Rick Scott. No, Rick Scott can't, because he was governor already.
He was governor.
Yeah, so Rick Scott can't. But look,
neither could DeSantis, of course. Unless he changes the rules. He might get rid of term limits.
We know DeSantis loves changing rules to fit his political.
So.
I was explaining that to someone the other day about why there'll never be a president from New York, because you have to resign. You have to resign in order to run here. Yeah. There's like stipulations around it.
Well, they had that in Florida too.
They had that in Florida, and then
they still have it actually.
And then
it's on the books.
And then Governor Ron DeSantis.
Oh,
because let's be honest here. I mean,
Jill DeSantis.
She's rearranging the drapes in the White House right now.
True,
Let's be honest. But we've got this from Fox News. Florida Republican Byron Donald is considering a run at the Sunshine State's next governor in 2026. A source close to Donald confirms Fox News Digital is considering a run at the governorship. Donald told Fox News Digital that he is focused on getting former President Trump back in office before we move on to that other stuff. Sounds similar to the Gates comment, and obviously they're all going to say we're focused on getting Donald Trump elected first. However, this is something that I genuinely believe would be a serious problem for the idea of the Freedom Caucus, for the idea of the MAGA movement, to have maybe the two most prominent names in the Freedom Caucus basically fighting it out over something that comes next.
Yeah.
Like task at hand here. Don't worry about scoring runs in the ninth inning until you score runs in the eighth inning.
Right. I mean, we were talking about originally that this primary season, many people thought a few months ago that it would be very contentious between DeSantis and Trump. Obviously, that did not materialize. But what will be contentious, I think, is this future gubernatorial race between Donalds and Gates, because you see these two major heavyweights sort of slowly approaching each other, and there's going to be a clash down the line. So I think what we missed out in terms of a very robust primary process on the presidential level this cycle, I think you're going to see in the Florida gubernatorial race in 2026, and maybe a few other people will throw their hats in the
I
ring.
think every Republican in Florida will throw, because look, it's becoming one of those states where all you got to do is win a primary.
Yeah, right.
It's like California.
Right.
All you got to do is win the primary and you win the governorship.
What this tells me, though, is that neither one of them, Gates, Donalds, or probably anyone else from Florida, will be Trump's VP. I think that's what this says.
I think so, too.
I think at this point, Kristi Noem's star power has really skyrocketed. Whether is she the best? I don't know. I think Carrie Lake is probably a little bit better if between those two, but I think those are probably the two front runners at this point.
We're still waiting for word to see if Carrie Lake jumps into the Senate race.
But I don't think that even matters.
I don't think it matters, but I think that would occupy a lot of her time. Well, it would matter. If she jumped into the Senate race, she obviously wouldn't be running for vice president. I think, look, there's a lot of possible names that have been thrown out there. I've put my political hat on, my campaign hat, and now my commentator hat, and I've said it for a long time. I think someone from a swing state.
Oh, yeah, you always say that.
Possibly, someone from Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota. Someone from there would be politically advantageous. Who knows? When Daniel Cameron becomes the governor of Kentucky.
It's not going to be Daniel Cameron.
I'm just
I know, but you're just
putting names out there.
He's a commentator right now. So, yeah. No, I agree. But, what was I going to say? I'm just tired of talking about Florida. I hate that Florida has become the centerpiece of national politics. Yeah. I know you want to move down there now.
If Congressman Gates runs, but I'm getting my sunblock.
We're gonna get even better people in New York because New York is the heart of MAGA country.
It really is,
as Kevin Smith and the loud majority proved once again this past Sunday.
Hold on. I just actually found an article from Newsday here on Long Island that
they're writing hit pieces left and right.
Well, now. Here we go. I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to pull this up on the screen.
Yeah.
3 Long Island Republican congressmen have been casting moderate votes.
The Three Stooges.
That's
right here.
Mo, Larry, and Curly. I think it's pretty obvious.
Truly.
I think it's fairly obvious which one Curly is.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I think pretty sure I'm going to be with him tomorrow night. So.
Oh. Fighting words over here.
I don't give a shit. They don't like me anyway.
Well, no, now they want to pal up with you, given how...
now that it's election season, ring! That's going to be happening.
This guy is going to challenge every single one of them.
I know nothing about. I like my life. I like my life. There'll be no running for Congress for me. But, guys, hit that thumbs up button as we keep rocking and rolling along here. We've got another story that's just going to infuriate you, that's going to drive you absolutely insane about what New York City is planning to do to George Washington. Before we get to that, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Keep sharing this video out all over the place. Let's jump into the live chat. Red, White, and Truth. I'm not sure who that is. I think that is a below average.
Just a troll.
I think that's a below average looking troll from northern New Jersey saying Kevin loves black Republicans, big identity politics guy. Yeah, coming from
Kevin obliterated him.
Who is that? I'm not sure who that is.
Just some numbnuts.
Just some numbnuts. Natalie, how are you? Caliber, how are you? America First PHL, how are you?
Hazel Kitty, is such an honor meeting you in real life the other day. Thank you so much for coming out, and it's always great seeing the chat in real life.
Wait, is Red, White, and Truth Frankie or Crispy?
Well, I mean, sometimes Crispy uses that name.
Oh, okay.
But it's Frankie's account.
Oh, if it's Frankie's account. I take it back. I'm sorry. You make great pizza. But how's it going, everybody? Donna, how are you? Barry, how are you? Let's see. Iris Hannah, how are you? B-Dub, what's happening? California has an insane amount of MAGA support. Look, I say it all the time about California. They have the most Republicans in the country. Just by density.
Yeah.
They have look, when it comes to California, they have the most of everything. So there is a large MAGA base out there. And I always find it interesting. I'm sure we could talk about this. You ever notice that the right-wing commentators always seem to come from the places where there are no right-wingers? California, New York.
Steve Bannon, Stephen Miller, all those guys, like the diehard guys from the first administration, all from California.
Tucker's from California.
He's from California.
Hannity lives 3 miles from here.
Truly.
I used to see him walking his dog all the time.
He originally grew up in Bayport. So he was right down the line.
He's right over here.
Kevin Smith from
obviously Kevin Smith.
Although Long Island is.
There's another guy on this net. Well, Sean. Then there's another guy in this network used to be from Long Island. I don't know what the hell his name is.
He went across the bridge.
It's not. But if you use his promo code, you only get 79% off my.
We love Mike Crispy. He's the best. He's the best dressed guy.
Oh, that was Crispy.
Up until the point where this guy now finally has his mugshot T-shirt. Show that off.
Oh yeah,
to the fans
check
again.
out.
No one could ever see it because you're cut off and you're slumped down.
How do I? There we go. Check out the.
Stand up for the fans.
Check out the
Never
mugshot.
surrender. And by the way, they come in more than just. XXL.
They come in more than big sizes. Yeah. You guys can pick those up at loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out the shop. Use promo code LFA for 20% off everything on the website. That's promo code LFA for 20% off everything on the website. Natalie, how's it going? T. Mitchell, how are you? Salt Disney, how are you? Let's see. Vicky Shore, how are you?
I agree. Trump won California. He won New York. He won all 50 states, and he was there for a landslide in 2020, but for all the cheating in the system.
Bongino's from Long Island.
He is.
That's
Bongino.
another. Shapiro's from L.A.
Well,
I mean, you
Shapiro,
could go. I mean, look. Even if you just go down the list of like just Fox News people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most
they're all
of
from,
them
like,
come
New
from the
York.
coast.
Yeah.
Whether it's L.A. or California, all the guys on Newsmax, whether it's Greg Kelly or Rob Schmidt,
Right.
they're all from the coasts.
There's a guy by the name of Donald John Trump who came from Queens.
There you go.
Just
Jamaica
a few miles
Estates.
away from where Kevin's rally started.
Paul, they want to know where you're from.
I am also from New York. I'm
He's
from Long Island.
He's a
from
Long Island
Suffolk
guy.
County originally.
Now he lives in the
Now
Death.
I live in
Now he lives in
the
Death
city,
Valley of New
yeah.
York City.
I live in Trump Tower, New York City.
Yes, he does. Soft brag.
What else?
Soft
what else
brag.
is going on? Yeah, I agree. Carrie Lake, she is great, but I still think Trump president I don't know about she said JRK Jr. I think she means either RFK Jr. unless she's also talking about JFK Jr. who, a lot of people still think he's around.
Guys, we're not even going there.
I don't know about RFK Jr. at this point.
You know what though is that just like I said, political hat on.
Mm-hmm.
If he did it, that would break the earth. People wouldn't know what to do with them. There would be like a mass political hysteria.
I don't know about that.
Going on.
You think so?
Yeah, I absolutely think so. Because like that would just be the ultimate FU to. And look, I don't think he'd make a great vice president. I don't agree with him on a lot of stuff. Obviously, the vaccine stuff, I'm a big fan of his on. I liked his dad.
Yeah.
But I really liked his grandfather more because Joseph Kennedy Sr.
His grandfather was great.
Was an absolute.
There's a book called, not to digress, but there's a book called The Patriarch. Actually, Pat David was talking about this the other day. I read it a few years ago. Really, really good book about the father.
Yeah.
He's the most interesting.
He's a fascinating guy.
He truly was.
He's a fabulous. Definitely. You know what I love about him is that whenever they talk about like bootleggers, of like during Prohibition,
Right.
they bring up Arnold Rothstein.
Right.
They bring up
They
Al
never
Capone.
bring up Joe
They
Kennedy.
never bring up Joe Kennedy.
Well, his biography, this was carefully curated by Ted Kennedy, who was still alive at the time when they're doing a lot of the research. So they were like, leave that part out. Or actually, he wasn't actually a bootlegger. But he did so much. He was in Hollywood. He was in banking. He was the youngest banker at the age of 25.
Well, even like Boardwalk Empire, right? They talk about Rothstein. They talk about Nookie Thomas,
Right.
Nookie Thompson, Al Capone.
Right.
Big hit HBO show. They just left out a city in the Northeast.
I know.
It's called Boston.
I know.
But he's a fascinating guy. And like I said, I think that if that were to happen,
Yeah.
I don't think. I genuinely don't think that that would be the ultimate FU just due to the system itself.
Hazel Kitty says Joe Kennedy, total mobster. I mean, he was the one.
Definitely a mobster.
He was the one that in 1960 they needed Chicago.
Yeah.
They needed the state of Illinois for Jack Kennedy, for JFK. That was one of the closest elections in American
I think it
history.
was the closest election.
And they got Frank Sinatra to, he was close friends with Sam Giancana, who ran basically the city of Chicago at the time. We're invoking mafia guys because the Italian American Civil Rights Union, I had to give that a shout out, is back in business. Me, Roger Stone, Mike Crispy. So that's I'm talking about.
But
I'm
I'm just saying that guy is absolutely fascinating.
He is truly a fascinating
and
character.
just like you said, this whole sort of like.
But he got Chicago for the Kennedys,
building,
and then once there was a betrayal there was.
You know how hard it is to
involved
build a
in the
family in like
assassinations.
modern day, and when I say
Truly.
a family,
and a dynasty,
a
not
dynasty,
just a family,
it's so hard
a
to build a dynasty. Now.
And they have a respect and sort of a reverence that the Bush family was never able to generate in the eyes of American people. I mean, the Kennedys have a lot of issues.
I mean, they definitely, but they I feel like to the normie out there. You say Kennedy, you think like American royalty. You think that like that's our royal family. Even though, despite the fact that there are no like relevant Kennedys anymore.
No, not anymore. But yeah, that was true. I mean, they at least one Kennedy was serving in Congress for like a 60-year period. I think 60, 70 years.
The Lion of the Senate, who drove a car into a lake and forgot he had a chick in the back seat.
I just visited.
So for anybody who wants to yell at Lauren Boebert, just remember, Ted Kennedy let a girl drown in the backseat of his car.
That's true.
And we're all just supposed to pretend like, oh, nothing to see here.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I don't know how he got away with that.
I don't know. I was just in Dealey Plaza in Dallas last week, 2 weeks ago. So it was the first time I visited.
I went there.
The place of JFK's assassination.
We can talk.
I mapped it out, figured it out in 10 minutes.
Yeah. you know what? When you stand there in real time, when you stand at Dealey Plaza and look at the Kennedy assassination and then turn your head and look up, Every person, I don't care who you are, looks up at that building and goes, not a chance.
I know.
Not a chance.
Well, it's actually pretty close. I mean, it's a small plaza in real life, but
that many shots in that.
You have to be a very good marksman, like from the 6th story of that building right across the street. But yeah, I mean, it's I mean, it looks exactly the same as it does in the Zapruder film from the 1960s, but.
There's an X on the street.
Someone who's Donna D.A. Wow, Paul,
That's
impressed.
Donna?
You know about the Italian American Civil Rights League. I know. It's very, very impressive. I'm bringing that knowledge to you, the fans.
Yeah, that's Donna.
Yeah, I know. I know who it is.
The best.
I know she's a wonder. Yeah, she'll be allowed. She'll be one of our members once we open it.
The Italian American Civil
Kevin's a sworn enemy of our league. But
I just think they're.
He calls us the cannoli crew, which is like the N word for Italians.
No, it is not. No, it is not. Okay. But all right, let's keep rocking and rolling here, guys. Hit the thumbs up button. Keep sharing this video
have a lot
out
of fun
all over the place so you never miss out on anything we've got going on here on LFA TV. Obviously, stick around after this for Matter of Fact. Coming up next with Ryan Mata at 2 o'clock. Before that, a quick word from Mike Lindell.
Over the last 20 years, with all your support, we've been able to not only launch the original MyPillow, but also the MyPillow mattress topper, Giza Dream bed sheets, My Slippers, and the MyPillow bath towels. But there's so much more. In fact, we have over 200 products, and I'm so confident that you'll love each and every one of them that when you go to MyPillow.com now, you'll immediately receive a free gift valued at $20 just for checking out the website. No purchase necessary. Get everything from MyPillow blankets, sleepwear, kitchen towels, mattresses, duvets, pet beds, body pillows, comforters, couch pillows, bathrobes, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And remember, just for checking out MyPillow.com, you'll immediately receive a free gift valued at $20. No purchase necessary. This is a limited time promotion, so go to MyPillow.com now.
Guys, head on over to MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code LOUD for 80% off everything on the website. If you use any other promo code, let's just say if you use promo code Crispy, you only get 79% off. I read that somewhere. So make sure you guys use promo code
promo code Crispy, you get lumpy pillows.
Yeah,
promo code Loud, you get good pillows.
They're not a lumpy pillows.
Not lumpy pillows.
Asshole. The greatest video of all time. So guys, head on over to MyPillow.com. Promo code
we love Mike.
Loud.
I'm sorry.
No, it's a good time.
Go ahead.
It's a good time. So here we go. As two members of the New York delegation sit here, we get to deal with Mayor Eric Adams considering removing statues of George Washington and creating a reparations task force amid budget cuts. Mayor Eric Adams said last week that the influx of tens of thousands of migrants will bring a financial tsunami. So at the time that we have to make budget cuts all across the city, to the FDNY, to the NYPD, to the Department of Sanitation, to the education department, which now has to teach all of these incoming illegal immigrants, we're going to find time to take down statues and create task force for reparations. I don't know what for what is all the I don't. We should have no more task force.
No more task
Either just
force.
do it
Right.
or shut the hell
That's
up about
right.
it.
That's so true. And they're not illegals, but they're not immigrants. They're illegals. But that besides
That's what the article said.
The fact of the matter is, you have the Roosevelt Hotel, which is truly one of the most historic landmarks in New York City. That is going to have to be torn down as a result of all these illegals being housed away in there. And now Eric Adams is focusing on tearing down, of course, George Washington's statue, following the heels of Christopher Columbus and Teddy Roosevelt.
And they want to take down the one of Peter Stuyvesant,
right?
The guy who
founded the state of New York.
And I know what liberals are going to say. You can't found an island if there's already people on it. Look, he made a fair deal. He got the island of Manhattan from the Indians for, I think it was some buttons and some silk. Yeah. It's not my fault that the Indians were terrible negotiators, okay? Donald Trump would have given them a much better deal.
No,
a much better deal. But it's so funny that with the Stuyvesant thing, because I always talk about the devaluing of education in this country and what they do to try to bring the top down to get the bottom to come up. So for those of you who don't know,
they have to tear down the top.
Yeah, there's a school in New York City called Stuyvesant High School, okay? This school is not made for regular people. It's made for, like, piano prodigies and math geniuses and all those kids you see at the spelling bees. It's not made for regular people. Well, what they decided to do was they decided to take a bunch of kids from the regular public school system and put them into Stuyvesant High School. And you're never going to guess what happened to all of them. They failed out.
Yeah.
Congratulations. You just made high school dropouts out of kids who would have otherwise graduated high school by putting them in a school. And look, I want to be clear. I should not have gone to Stuyvesant. You should not have gone to Stuyvesant. No one I know should have went there.
Yeah.
Like, I think the average SAT score is like 1560.
Wow.
Like, it's it's mind-blowing because it's
I
made...
might have gone in, but
yeah.
well, I'd actually like to see Kevin in a spelling bee now.
I'm a terrible speller.
Just have an LFA-TV spelling bee.
I will lose the spelling bee, I promise you.
You and Ryan Matt, I'd like to see what that. But
Don't do that.
Anyway, no, but people, if there was any sort of doubt that like these George Floyd riots is this about civil rights? Is this about police brutality? No, it's about destroying our national heritage. It's about destroying our country. And the fact that they're going after George Washington is just like that proves the point. You're going after the founding father. You're going after the founding father of the city of New York and Peter Stuyvesant. You're going after Teddy Roosevelt.
Our friend Gavin Wax tried to stop them from removing a statue of Teddy Roosevelt in front of the museum that he created. He made the Natural History Museum?
Yeah, the Museum of Natural History. That's...
But this is what they did in Maoist China. They removed all the history so that they could bring in the new wave. It is Marxism 101. It is Soviet style crap 101.
If you're a straight white male historical figure, if you're a Christian, if you're someone of greatness and esteem and renown, of course you have to be torn down. And there's no stop to the revolution. It's the left. They're Marxists, as Kevin said. It's an endless cultural revolution. And the only thing that drives them is just continuing to destroy. There's no stop to it. So that's why you can never give them an inch, because obviously they'll always want more.
And I've said it all the time. When it comes to people of the left, if we're a 10 and they're a 0, they try to tell you, okay, let's meet in the middle. And then for years, Republicans have said, okay, fine, we'll meet in the middle. Now we're at a 5. And then they come back 2 years later and they go, well, why don't you just meet us in the middle again? Now we're at a 2.5. Yeah. 2 years later, we're at a 1.25. And that is the slow erosion. Jordan Peterson talks about all the time how any good insurgency happens 2 inches at a time. Because if you take 2 inches every single day, a year from now, we're going to be a mile down the road and we're not going to know how the hell we got there. The problem that the left has done, in my opinion, is that I think that they've taken too much too quickly. And now a lot of people are going, whoa. Porn in schools, giving puberty blockers to my kids.
Yeah, right.
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Men in women's sports? Yeah. Come on now. Now because the only way the left can win is by taking grasp of the people who are not politically initiated. They did it and they ran out of people. And once they did that, they started going into sports. And now the normies, look, it's college football season. There will be plenty of TikTok videos out there of regular college kids chanting Joe Biden all day long. There was last year, there was the year before that, there's going to be this year. Why? Because college kids are dumb and they're hilarious. And they're just like, all right, let's scream the F word really loud.
Yeah.
But there's never an F Trump chant at anything. I never see any TikToks of roving bands of hordes of college students chanting F Donald Trump. You never hear that one.
Yeah, I mean there used to be with those woman marches, but those are all gone. I mean it's interesting that there were no riots really for the most part under Joe Biden. As soon as Donald Trump left office, I mean you have the persecution of the J6 defendants, but since then all these spontaneous rallies, counter revolutions, whatever, counter rallies against counter protests against Donald Trump. No longer, you no longer see them under
just
Joe
a
Biden.
Gaggle of ugly people everywhere. Everywhere. I showed climate protesters in the city yesterday, and I don't know. I wasn't sure, but I surmised that if you want to be a climate protester, you also must be heinously ugly.
I mean,
you have to be ugly.
It's par for the course.
You have to be ugly.
That's how it is.
You have to not own a mirror or have friends that like you.
You need bad physiognomy. Word of the day.
What was that?
Bad physiognomy. Have you heard of that word before? I taught Crispy that word.
What is it? Physiognomy.
Physiognomy. It's a popular word on Twitter. If Kevin spells that word correctly by the end of the show,
that ain't gonna happen. I tell you that. I think you made that word up.
Give him a $500 prize.
I think you made that word up, guys. Hit that thumbs up button. Keep sharing this video out
Crispy
all over the place, guys. If you're new to the channel, hit the follow button. Also, if you're new in the chat, let me know in the chat. You guys know I love hearing about all the new people there. What else we got? Hit the thumbs up button. Keep sharing the video out. Let's dive into the live chat. Let's see. Gremlin, how are you? ZBM, how are you? Caliber, what's going on? Let's see. Robbie Sunshine, hello. Barry, Beanery, how's things? How's everyone doing?
Be sure to share this show far and wide on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Very good.
Post it all over the place. And
now we got the chat trying to spell it.
The chat is trying to spell. Yeah. We're having a spelling bee today in the chat.
Yeah. Mike says 140 IQ, you can spell it. See, Mike, smart people know that IQ has nothing to do with spelling. It's about the ability to solve puzzles.
That's true.
But, hey, when you can't match your tie and your shirt, what are you going to do? So, Jackie, how is it going? Let's see. This is gonna be a fun day today. I'm having way too much fun today.
So what's your take on I know we talked about JFK a little earlier. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but is that a conspiracy theory? What's your take on that, Kevin?
No, I think a lot of the stuff, and when you, me, Frankie, Crispy, we argue about this all the time. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of times governments or anyone really, when they can't answer something, they don't know. Like, think about the UFOs. What is scarier? These are aliens from outer space, or we don't have the slightest idea what the hell this is. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be honest with you. We don't have the slightest idea what this is, to me, is more terrifying than Independence Day coming down, because at least that can be handled. I think a lot of the stuff that goes on is just people not really understanding, is not being able to admit that, look, we don't really know what happened.
I know.
We don't really know what happened, and I think that is what happens with a lot of stuff.
It's that, and also we don't want to take responsibility for being probably pretty far behind our competitors on the global stage, China especially, in military-grade technology.
100%.
I mean, even if it actually is UFOs and it's not Chinese whatever, spacecraft, whatever, we're still behind. And we don't want to take responsibility.
We're totally
for that.
behind. And that's what whenever I argue with somebody about this Ukraine thing, they're like, well, if we let Russia take Ukraine, then China takes Taiwan. Mm-hmm. Are we going to do anything about that? And I go, no, we're not going to do anything about that.
No.
The Chinese military, first off, is more advanced than us. They have way more people than us.
Yeah.
They are willing to lose 100 million people and not notice. I'm not going to die in the Xinjiang province.
No.
So you know what? If China takes Taiwan, I got to be honest with you, to me, that sounds like a Taiwan problem.
That does. What's our interest in retaining Taiwan in the first place? I mean, that's a question in and of itself. But also, I was looking.
Now, Mike Crispy is commenting from two accounts.
Yeah,
at the
I know
same time.
he is, and he's sending me photos, beautiful photos of my face from his account. But we'll go into that at another point. But I looked up the 30 tallest buildings in the world, and 27 of them are in the east. In China, most of them are in China. Some are in Taiwan. Some are in Dubai. But we don't build anything anymore. We don't have these this type of technology and creative ability and just willpower to build massive projects.
Yeah. Absolutely, and I say it to people.
And they're studying Aristotle and Plato while we're teaching our kids, critical race theory.
Exactly. We sit there and
that's a true thing. There's been a revival of the classics of the great books in Western civilization, the Western canon, Shakespeare. They're teaching their children this in Chinese schools.
Meanwhile, American colleges are getting rid of Shakespeare because he's too racist.
Yeah, or math.
Also, I just want to be like, really, Shakespeare's racist? Try reading Othello.
Yeah.
Oh, right. You only think Romeo and Juliet is a bit rapey, which
Othello is the ultimate antidote to racism.
If you don't want to watch,
maybe Kevin and I will.
If you don't want to watch
Shakespeare
Othello, just watch
reading.
the movie. Watch the movie O with Mekhi Phifer. It's the exact same thing.
Yes.
Great movie from the '90s. But I think it was the '90s.
Yeah.
But that's what they do. Is that we have an education system that caters to the mediocre as opposed to the great.
Yeah.
And you know what? And it bothers me. Patrick Bet-David I'm a big Patrick Bet-David fan. I'm actually gonna be with him in 2 weeks in Miami, 3 weeks in Miami. But I'm very excited. I'm a little bit more.
When's that?
Tim Pool's having him, Gates, and Don Jr.
Fantastic.
It's gonna be great. But
you should ask him on your show.
I would do anything under the sun to make that happen. Yeah. But he was talking to Candace Owens about semiconductors and computer chips and stuff. And I remember thinking to myself, America has gotten so, I don't want to say wasteful, but so accustomed to, I mean, look, how many TVs are in this office?
12. 12 just in this room.
5. There's 5 TVs in this office. If I only had 3, would I be okay?
Kevin cannot be in a room without a TV.
I know, but I just mean, like I think that maybe Americans' consumption is the part of the problem.
That's true.
Maybe, look, the average. I think I read a study the other day. The average American home has 200,000 items in it. If we removed all of that stuff from China and made stuff slightly more expensive, and you only had 170,000 items in your home, would you notice? Maybe how much brightly colored plastic crap does every American need? Maybe. Just maybe the fact that we have no money happens to do with the fact that most people out there spend a lot of their money on just useless shit.
Yeah, it's called gluttony. It's one of the 7 deadly sins, and there's a reason for that. You know, Americans have become way too passive, way too consumptive. They've become You're right.
Consumptionist.
So he has an ad read.
No, but it is wild to me. I guess I want to ask him about that.
Right.
Maybe Americans should just spend a little bit less on crap, and then we wouldn't be so reliant on everything being so dirt cheap. But before we move on to the next story, guys, I want to talk to you about our friends over at 4patriots.com. Guys, look, I've been saying it for a long time. There's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't have 3 or 7 day survival food kits on hand at your home. It's like a fire extinguisher. It's one of those things you hope you never need, but you don't want to be looking for it when you need it the most. Head on over to 4patriots.com. Use promo code LFA for 10% off everything on the website. That's promo code LFA for 10% off everything on the website. And while you're there, check out the Patriot Power Generator, guys. This thing is solar powered. It is absolutely fantastic. It'll run your fridge in case of a blackout. It is whisper quiet. And it can be run indoors. This way you don't lose all your food. God forbid you have some sort of a blackout. Or you can be like me and hook up your pool filter to it so that it doesn't run any electricity off of your home. I love saving money. I'm sure you will too. Guys, head on over to 4patriots.com. Promo code LFA. That's 4patriots.com. Promo code LFA. And we were just talking about the American reliance on things coming from the East. This comes at the exact same time that the Biden administration has shut down future oil and gas activities on thousands of acres of land in New Mexico. Now, I want to be clear. Does this have anything to do with the fact that Joe Biden's Secretary of the Interior is the former chief of some tribe? Yes.
Sure it does.
That's exactly what it has to do with.
Yeah.
Look, I am not disparaging the Cherokee people. However, like, you're sitting on a gold mine, people. There's something you can do other than handing out plastic chips at a casino. There are other things you could be doing. The Biden administration has announced on Monday it plans to shut down future oil, gas, and mining activity on thousands of acres of New Mexico land for the next 50 years.
Oh, my God.
The Bureau of Land Management sub-agency, the Department of the Interior, issued the Monday proposal to block new oil, gas, and mineral extraction activity on 4,000 acres of land in Sandoval County, New Mexico, according to a the Department of the Interior press release. The proposal is motivated by the agency's desire to safeguard thousands of tribal cultures and recreational activities in the area. The policy would last for 50 years if it's finalized. The county sourced more than 2 million barrels of oil and nearly 10 million metric cubic feet of natural gas in 2020, the year before President Biden took office, according from data from Drilling Edge. The county is also the home to 6 gravel mines, including 4 of the largest in the state. So while we see higher gas and energy prices all over the country, Joe Biden is now shutting down one of the biggest reserves we have. And, of course, this comes at a time when radical liberals are out there continuing to annoy everyone about how they can't use oil, they can't use gas, everything must be electric. They have no problem with the slave labor going on in sub-Saharan Africa in the cobalt mines, where children are being forced into slave labor. No. AOC doesn't notice that. She doesn't care about that because she doesn't understand these things from her upstate New York private college life. AOC doesn't get these things. They don't understand. As we say all the time on this show, liberals never have to face the reality of the policies from which they put forth. And because of that, They don't live in the real world.
I mean, our oil reserves are as expansive, if not more so, than Saudi Arabia. How come there are no liberals in Saudi Arabia ever telling them to shut down their drilling for oil?
Because if you tell Mohammed bin Salman to do something he doesn't like, he goes, oh, I shouldn't. Wait, you don't want me to do that? You know what else? You know what else you're probably not going to want me to do? Cut you up into a whole bunch of pieces and sell your mother and daughter into sex slavery because Mohammed bin Salman is nothing more than an 8th century goat herder.
That's true, but at the same I don't know. That's a little insulting. I think, to him.
I'm totally
anyway, but at the same time they're all wealthy there, so there's no incentive at the same time to shut down those oil reserves.
No, because they realize that OPEC runs the world.
Right, absolutely.
And everyone knows.
And we could be that way.
We could.
New York has oil reserves that were untapped that we could be
tried to get all the natural gas out of the southern tier. Lee Zeldin talked a lot about that. Of course, that'll all be shut down by Governor. I don't know where to draw my eyebrows on Hochul.
Yep.
Because I don't know. Just put them where they belong.
I know.
Just leave them there.
Yeah,
I don't know what your problem.
She draws them on.
She draws them on.
I don't know what that. Roger Stone called her like an ugly-looking mob wife. When he did his worst stress list last year, she made the cut.
That's pretty funny. She's an ugly-looking mob wife. She is like very, very, very rundown. Very rundown. Guys, hit that thumbs up button as we keep rocking and rolling. We're going to talk more about the Biden administration's assault on gas and energy. Be sure to
rumble. Hit that rumble button.
Hit that rumble button. Keep sharing the video.
I appreciate all the compliments. Everyone's saying Paul's the best co-host of all time, so I appreciate that. We also have a few trolls sending me, what is this? Like sending me images of myself.
I don't know why you look like an alien in that photograph.
I don't know.
But, guys, keep hitting the thumbs up button. I want to tell you guys about the LFA TV store. Guys, head on over to lfatv.us. Jeremy Harrell's having a huge blowout sale over there on all the LFA TV merchandise. That's the best way to support this network, by becoming a monthly donor. I know times are tough right now, and a lot of people are having, it's tough. But for us to keep bringing you guys the sort of content you want, for us to be able to go on the ground and cover stuff the way you guys want it, we need your support. We don't have any gigantic backed funding like Fox News does from Pfizer. We are solely user-generated content. So, guys, please head on over to head on over to lfatv.us. Consider becoming a monthly donor over there. Pick up some Rise Up coffee. Pick up your Armor of God t-shirts. Thank you all so much. Darlene Dempsey says, you guys are both great. Thank you all so much.
Really
Jackie, how's it going? Susie Q, how was the rally? Susie Q was at the rally.
Hazel Kitty said Hochul is that word Paul used. Yes, she has bad physiognomy. I agree.
Bad physiognomy. Where is the backflip video, Kevin? Well, so here's the thing. When we went to the pizza party yesterday, it was thundering and lightning, and I was actually a little bit afraid to jump in the pool because I don't want to.
Yeah, we need to see that, Kevin.
I don't want. It will happen. It is sunny out.
You could do a backflip or a cannonball or belly flop.
No, dude, I am quite nimble.
He's nimble.
I am quite nimble.
Well,
the backflip is coming. But yes, fantastic show. Great chat, fam. Thank you so much, America First. PHL Fast Hour. Time flies when you're having fun, eh, Paul?
It's always a lot of fun.
So, Paul, why don't you tell everybody about your Substack while we close out here?
Yeah, be sure to read it. We showed a few images on there, but I uploaded, thanks to Nicole, we had the 10-minute video montage of images from Sunday's rally, so definitely be sure to look at it. It's Paul Ingrassia's Substack. Just find me on Twitter, click on the link.
There'll be a link in the chat and in the comments
You'll pull
below.
It up, right? Yeah.
There's a link right here.
I think it's like paulingrassia.substack.com.
Yeah, but I just put it in the comments.
Thank you so much, buddy. Yeah, it's a great read. It's a short read. I usually write 10,000-word articles. This one's a nice and short one, a lot of photos. So definitely check it out. Beautiful day, beautiful rally. Donald Trump, again, truthed it, and hopefully he'll truth out this article at some point as well.
Hopefully, because
gotta get all that exposure.
You got to get all that exposure.
Send a strong message to all of Kevin Smith's enemies.
Absolutely. I drink.
He drinks.
I drink from the cup of my haters. That is what motivates me, and as you can see, I'm quite big, so obviously I do a lot of drinking. As we close out today, we got to talk about Ray Epps finally charged with 6 misdemeanors. Wow. 6 misdemeanors. I think I have more current outstanding parking tickets, which is pretty much the exact same crime anyway. So Ray Epps gets away with everything. Enrique Tarrio gets 22 years in jail. You want to tell me there's not more than 2 tiers of justice in this country? I don't know what the hell is. I'm sure it'll all be pleaded down and he won't spend a day in jail.
Yeah, I'm sure. And they're not going to raise any of these misdemeanors to felonies like they've done for Donald Trump and all these J6 defendants. But, they think that, all right, we'll sacrifice our guy, and then we'll get rid of this whole narrative that feds were infiltrating the crowds on January 6th. No, we are just getting started.
We haven't.
We're just hitting.
It's not going away, guys.
No, it's not. It's not. And this is going to backfire on them.
It absolutely is.
Donald Trump always talks about retribution. And that's the name of the game.
It is the Revenge Tour. Guys, as we close out today, I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. Head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. I'm throwing it in the chat right now, loudmajorityusa.com. Use promo code LFA for 20% off everything at checkout. Check out the shop. Sign up for the newsletter so you never miss out on anything we've got going on. Tommy Girl gets lots of compliments on her Loud Majority sticker. Gotta get it. Al, you know what? You couldn't be more right, because everybody loves Loud Majority sticker. It's absolutely fantastic. I wish I could give one to Paul to put somewhere, but it would look kind of weird.
I could stick it on my window.
On the window of your apartment. That would look kind of weird. Guys, head on over to, what is the Substack again?
PaulIngrassia.substack.com. Be sure to subscribe.
Subscribe to his page. Guys,
if you want to become a paid member, too, it's $10 per month. It's a little costly, but,
It's a little costly, but you can just by subscribing, that helps.
That helps.
That helps so much. Paul, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Guys, hit that thumbs up button on the way out the door. Stay tuned for Matter of Fact coming up next at 2 o'clock. Until then, everybody, Paul, thank you so much for coming in.
It's always a pleasure. I love coming on. I think I should be on once a week, too, as Hazel Kitty said. So
you're more than welcome to come in anytime you want, my friend. Guys, until tomorrow, same time, same place, 1 p.m., right here on LFA TV. Stay loud.
Stay loud.